SCP-058's command. Hello, Dr. Long here. Today we'll be going over SCP-058. Let's get right into it. SCP-058. Object Class: Kether. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-058 is to be kept in isolation in a 5 meters by 5 meters by 5 meters containment chamber at all times. Walls are to be constructed of 3 meters of reinforced heat-resistant steel, backed with a further 10 meters of reinforced concrete. SCP-058 is to be fed a live cow every 3 days. Maintenance is to be conducted every 60 minutes while SCP-058 is dormant, and every 15 minutes while SCP-058 is active. Under no circumstances SCP-058 to be allowed out of its containment area. SCP-058 is to be audio recorded at all times. No personnel are to listen to SCP-058 for more than 30 minutes at a time. In case of escape, facility is to be considered compromised and detonation of on-site nuclear weaponry is to commence. To date, SCP-058 has been responsible for the death of at least 149 D-Class personnel and 14 agents at its current site. Description: SCP-058 resembles a bovine heart with 4 arthropod-like legs used primarily for movement and 4 tentacles of adjustable length covered with razor-sharp spines. It has a single sharp stinger on its rear where the hole for the superior vena cava would be in a typical organ. SCP-058's tentacles can be whipped at distances of 3.2 meters at speeds in excess of 320 kilometers per hour. SCP-058 is extremely hostile and would use every opportunity afforded to inflict damage on its surroundings. SCP-058 has been shown to be highly resilient to trauma and should be approached with caution even when apparently incapacitated. SCP-058 is highly mobile and capable of rapid movement on both horizontal and vertical surfaces. It has been recorded reaching a speed of approximately 90 kilometers an hour in short bursts covering distances of 200 meters and has the ability to accelerate from 0 to 90 in less than 2 seconds. It has been shown to use its tentacles for increased leverage and stability, as well as utilizing them to pull itself to other surfaces at high speeds. SCP-058 speaks in a human voice, though no method of producing sound has been observed in its physiology. It speaks with a vocal tone and accent of an elderly British man with a slight lisp and deep voice. SCP-058 talks constantly regardless of condition. Even when attacking, SCP-058's voice and pace of speech are unchanged. The speech of SCP-058 lacks any detectable correlation to events, persons, or exterior locations involved with SCP-058. See transcript of Interview 058-4. Notes: SCP-058 was first encountered at Site as it came out of data expunged. SCP-058 was extremely hostile and appeared to be very agitated. Initially, SCP-058 attacked Site, which resulted in the death of faculty and agents. SCP-058 went on to attack the nearby town of resulting in the death of over redacted citizens and the destruction of 70% of the surrounding buildings. Post-breach analysis determined the majority of the deaths are attributed to fire and fire-related injuries, resulting from a widespread of stinger fluid by SCP-058 from a large structure. This is also blamed for the majority of the structural damage by SCP-058 accounts for only 8% of total deaths, with major evidence data expunged. SCP-058 was finally contained after being crushed and incapacitated by a large amount of masonry from a building that had collapsed on top of it. SCP-058 was then extracted and transported to by agents and mobile task force teams. SCP-058 was contained at for 3 weeks, during which it made minimal attempts to move, attributed both to physical damage and bloating from during the initial breach incident. Testing during this period was limited, with SCP-058 still maintaining a high threat level even in its impaired state. SCP-058 breached containment on during an attempt to transfer it to an SCP containment site, causing multiple deaths and injuries. SCP-058 was eventually incapacitated by Agent who managed to subdue SCP-058 by running it over with an M1 tank, pinning it between the armored vehicle. SCP-058 was subsequently secured and transported to Armed Biocontainment Area 14. Transcripts of Interview 058-4.
I had dreams of the Queen Wanderers that lived inside the hearts of love in silent treatment of the elderly that I knew were once whole. I
What is
seek
your
the
name?
revelation of all that the holy told the unwise in the dreams of cold embers in the sunlight that fades across lakes of black blood and snakes that eat the loaves of children from lamb trees in autumn.
What is your
Endless
name?
suffering is the woe of the ignorant man who never lacks to seek the depth of their own hearts and to only see the wealth of a poor world suffering to flay its own back in knife wounds of silver and brutal gladness.
Where are you
Nightmare is a
from?
dream for the nameless slug that wanders across the minefield in the remain of deer and kings.
This is some
Nightshade is
creepy ass.
shadow in all honest blink that sorts through the vial of newborn plagues. Instant warmth is the mother's milk in dreams before anything was evil.
Let him go!
Sensual violence of lust is all the assurance you will ever need to know the worth of life.
End of audio log. There's something that disturbs me about this SCP more than others. It's brutal, senseless, and undiscriminatory. It just destroys everything it comes close to with what seems to only be pure rage and violence. Don't get me wrong, we have plenty of dangerous and deadly SCPs, but none of them seem as mindless in their violence. 682 is calculating and effective. 035 is a genius but is psychotic. None of them just destroy everything in their path for the sake of destroying it without giving it a second thought. There's something about that just baffles me. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. I'll see you folks in the next one.